What a pass. Giddy underneath for JRE. The reverse and the rookie-to-rookie action. Outside the Lou Dort. He'll get the flyby. 3 on the way, and he rattles it in. SGA defended closely by Westbrook. Tough. Step back. Gets up the shot. Banks it in for the lead.
This is Lou Dort. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncontested Postgame Show, brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm your host for the night, JD Silva. Tonight I'm joined by Jacob Niffen. How's it going?
I'm upset. 50,000 on my head is disrespect.
I'm upset, Silva.
Let me go ahead and second that.
This is some bullshit.
Well, folks, tonight the Oklahoma City Thunder played a pivotal game against the Orlando Magic. Pivotal in that this was crucial for the tank standings, honestly. Just really quickly going over the narrative heading into this game. In the middle of, I think, the second quarter, Detroit wrapped up their win against the Hawks, which for a brief, happy moment tied Orlando, OKC, and Detroit all at 20 wins. So if OKC were to lose this game, they would be tied or similar. They'd at least be third in the tank standings. And, of course, OKC wins 118 to 102.
They got down massively early. Orlando was just hitting everything, and I was a little worried. I was like, oh, that's not sustainable. And there's a lot. I mean, we're not going to actually talk about the basketball because it was god freaking awful.
Yeah.
But Silva, a stat that really jumps off the page to me that is incredibly important. My guy, let me find it here. Mavs Draft tweeted it out. If you look at the Orlando Magic box score, starters, Franz Wagner, 21 minutes plus 20. Chuma Okeke, 33 minutes plus 13. Mo Bamba, 22 minutes plus 15. Cole Anthony, 30 minutes plus 5. But those guys didn't play much. They played Ignas Brazdeikis. Ignas Brazdeikis.
Nailed it.
21 minutes minus 36. They played Mo Wagner, which is like Franz Wagner's half-wit brother. 24 minutes minus 28. They played Admiral Schofield, a dude that came to training camp with the Thunder and sucked so much they cut him. 22 minutes. He was a minus 23. I mean, I can't be mad, but this was so ass-tastic. It was just a complete and utter tank move by the Orlando Magic. A complete and utter tank move. There's an Orlando Magic podcast that had the audacity to say after the Thunder lost to Orlando 4 days ago that Sam Presti needed to go to jail for what he was doing, and that the Thunder was one of the most impressive teams in squandering talent they had ever seen. I will hear no slander.
Yeah.
The Magic, A, they're just bad, and B, they pulled off a masterful tank tonight. So you know what? Shout out to them because it helped out their tank standings. We got to hope that Orlando wins some games down the stretch. But with the way that they're sitting, guys, it's hard to be too confident in that.
Yeah, a bit of a short-sighted take there, trying to send Presti to jail. But who am I to say? Who am I to say? Just looking ahead really quickly, the Thunder Super Bowl is taking place on April Fool's Day, and it's against Detroit in the
That's
last
a big
head-to-head matchup. That's a huge matchup.
Yes, that one, and the Thunder have 2 games against the Portland Trailblazers, who I am literally convinced they just went to their local YMCA and picked up some dudes to play professional basketball. Like the Portland Trailblazers are playing guys. I cover the NBA. We cover the NBA for this podcast, Silva. We're pretty invested.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of these dudes that are playing for Portland. Those are going to be incredibly difficult games to lose.
Yeah, I have no idea who's playing when I watch them. It was like that first name you pronounced on Orlando that probably would not do a good job pronouncing myself. It's a roster full of
Of those
that
dudes.
guy.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Like the two games against Portland, what do you think the outcome, the end outcome is? 0-2, 1-1, or 2-0?
I fear that 1-1 is like best case. Like
That's where I'm at as well.
the Thunder are just too well coached. I don't think the floor of the players we have on our team is as low as the floor of the guys that they're going to be playing against. I think they're definitely going to be sitting Shea more. I don't think Giddey's coming back.
Yeah.
Unless it's like against a really good team or something that is going to win. Like I don't really see it.
Yeah, I think that those two Portland games, I think at best you're looking at a split.
Mm-hmm.
So if you split those, you have to lose that Detroit game and then all the other games and just win one more game for the rest of the year and end the season at 22 wins. Now, while we're talking about it, let's pull up Detroit Pistons schedule.
Yeah, I was looking at that a bit ago.
So Detroit still has some winnable games. They beat the Hawks tonight by 21.
I actually have faith that Detroit is going to win a few more games.
Yeah, they have the Wizards, who aren't that great. They have the Knicks, who suck. They have the Nets, and they're in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyrie will be able to play at that point in time.
Yeah, I think he's
Brooklyn after
debuting
tonight.
really soon. Yeah,
The 76ers is probably a loss for them. Then they have the Thunder and the Pistons the Thunder and the Pacers in back-to-back games.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mavs, Bucks, and Sixers to close it out. I mean, I can see them beating like the Wizards, the Thunder, and the Pacers.
Totally.
And if that's the case, Detroit would end with 23 wins. The Thunder would need to end with 22 to be ahead of them. That means one more win for the season.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that going into that April 1st game, they both have 22 wins or something like that.
Yeah, that game kind of becomes for all the marbles.
For all the marbles, yeah. Because that, in theory, would boot OKC to 4th and lock them in at 4th, which I have feared was our destiny this Detroit Timber wins. Yeah, I feared that 4th place in the lotteries has been OKC's destiny this whole time, but we'll see. Detroit's been good. Cade's really good. Sadiq Bey.
They've actually been playing like really, really well. The Magic, they obviously lost to the Thunder tonight. They do not play again, just like the Thunder, until Saturday night. They play the Sacramento Kings. Let's cross our fingers that Kangs.
Mm-hmm. Sabonis is out, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Let's hope that the Kings pull off a Kings and they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Magic win. Then we have Magic versus Cavaliers. They have the Wizards, who, again, aren't very good.
No.
The Raptors, the Knicks, who aren't very good. Then Cavs, Hornets, Heat to close it out. So there's maybe 1, 2, like maybe 3 more winnable games for the Magic on the schedule.
Heat could rest guys in the last game too.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be it's a race to the bottom for sure.
Yeah. Why I have talked badly about Teo's performance all season long.
Oh my gosh.
And it came back to bite me in the ass tonight, Jacob. 25, 4, and 6 tonight for Teo Maladone. Why?
Yeah, I had a lot of people in my mentions post game saying like, "Hey, they need to sit Teo. He's too good." Blah blah. Man, if Teo is too good, we have massive problems. Because, I mean, Silva, we'll do a podcast in like the off season about this, but the Thunder are going to have to clear roster spots for incoming rookies. My top 3 guys that aren't going to be on this team next year: Derek Favors, and then this is in order: Derek Favors, Teo Maladone, Isaiah Roby. I think Teo is going to get traded or cut this summer. If that's the dude that's coming out and winning you a basketball game tonight single-handedly, like, I don't know what else you can do, honestly.
Yeah, I was running our Twitter account tonight. I think one of the last tweets I put out as Teo buried a step back 3 was, "It's time to take away Mark Daignault's Nike pullover just to do something." The team is too well coached, too well disciplined. Like the
culture's too strong.
Yeah, it's too strong. It's too strong. Thunder culture. They don't take bad shots. It's all smart driving kicks. Anyone that gets the ball in their hands knows what to do. Even Vic looked pretty good tonight. I haven't been the biggest guy on
4 of
Vic.
6 from 3.
Poku's usage I feel like was much higher than it normally is. We saw some point Poku and he he just didn't shoot it very well, but he filled up the stat sheet.
Yeah. Teo Maladone tonight, you said 25 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah, 9 of 13.
Plus 33 in the plus minus. Lindy Waters plus 25 in 19 minutes. Olivier Sarr plus 24 in 19 minutes. Meanwhile, all the starters except Poku were negatives. Trey Mann, -9. Wiggins, a -10. Roby, a -12. Darius Baisley, a -6.
I'm kind of surprised Trey Mann was a negative there, but we needed a lot more bays and a lot less everyone else. We should have brought Derek Favors back to play this one.
Yeah, it sucks. They really needed to lose this one. Not the end of the world, though. We still have about 10 games left. It's time to play those out, try to lose all of them, and see what happens.
Yeah. Fun question I have for you. I don't think you've been asked this on a podcast, so correct me if I'm wrong. Quick question about Trey Mann. Trey Mann scored 21 points tonight. I was at the game against Boston where he had his career high. I think it was 35.
Mm-hmm.
How many points does he average next season if I set the over-under at 12.5?
Oh, that is a fun question. What is he at right now currently? Do you know?
10.9, I think. I'm making sure right now. Trey Mann, 10.2.
10.2. Interesting, because next year you have to assume Shea and Josh are starting.
Right.
The person they draft will probably be starting.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Dort probably starts over Trey. Trey plays off the bench.
I think he's like the de facto sixth man.
What was the number you gave?
12.5.
I'm going under.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be closer to like 10.5.
I think it's gonna be like around there. I think it's gonna be like 11.5, something like that. But
now I've been a proponent. I assume they're gonna get something done with Lou and get the extension on the books. If they don't, and they maybe look to trade Lou this summer, I think Trey Mann could start for you.
Totally, that would be really
I think
fun.
he really offensively he really fits what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can spot up and catch and shoot. He can be like a secondary playmaker. You could have Trey, Shea, and Josh as like that front three. And then if you end up getting a guy like Paulo, Banchero, or Jabari Smith, or Chet Holmgren, one of those can be in your front court. Maybe you go get another guy to play in your front court or something. I could see a world where Trey Mann starts on this team next year.
Yeah, I would definitely want to see some growth on defense from the other guys that would be surrounding Trey in that lineup, like Shea and Giddey, which I think from Giddey at least you will see a defensive improvement. And then especially if you get a guy like Chet behind them that can block shots and defend if Trey gets blown by in a lineup like that. It'd be tough. It'd be tough seeing Paolo in that lineup. I think I'm kind of souring on Paolo as the season goes on. Where do you?
Oh,
rank?
interesting. He's growing on me a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Down the stretch here in the tournament, a little bit before the tournament, shooting the ball better from three, his playmaking. I mean, I've been on record way back in like November. I kind of like the idea of Paulo as playing like 50% of his minutes at the 5.
Yeah.
Dude's 6'10", 250. I mean, he's the size of Steven Adams.
Mm-hmm. That is insane to think about.
I know, it's crazy. He's huge.
I always think he's like a 6'8" guy. Like I always imagine him as just being Jabari Parker, and I think that's where he's been to not be in that mindset. But
so he's grown on me a little bit. So I would probably put him like for my Thunder board at number 3.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I just think there's more of a fall off from 2 to 3. But yeah, he's firmly third. Well, is there anything?
I love Jabari Smith for a long time now.
Yeah.
But some stats that have come out about him and his like finishing at the rim and putting the ball on the deck. I think I saw stats something about like at his field goal percentage inside the paint and at the rim. The only college players who have shot as bad as he has and gone in the top 10 are like Cam Reddish and someone else who's like not very inspiring at all.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I like the idea of Jabari fitting in alongside. Like I like Jabari and Giddy as a combination, I think, and that's why I think Giddy unlocks a lot of what Jabari can be. But
I think that's fair.
Well, is there anything else in regards to this game you wanted to touch on? It was a real stinker.
I don't even want to talk about the basketball of the game. It was bad.
Really bad. I thought we'd have some fun Mo Bamba moments. I was ready to tweet out a screenshot of the song and never got that opportunity.
He did some good stuff and then some absolutely awful stuff.
Yep.
And was just kind of all over the place. 5 of 12 from the field for Mo, 1 of 4 from 3, 11 points, 10 rebounds. He's a plus 15. I mean, there's no Thunder stuff. I mean, Baisley had a bad night. Poku had a bad night. Roby hitting 3 of 4 from 3 is a real killer.
He kind of iced the game. Like Orlando was sort of coming back there at the end, and Roby kept hitting threes.
At one point, the Thunder were 10 of 20 from 3. This is the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. They shot 41.5% tonight. They made 17 of their 41 threes. The Thunder, as a team, their splits were 48, 41, 83. I mean, that's pretty good, but it's a product of who was defending them, which was a whole bunch of nobodies. So, but at the end of the day, looking at this from like a macro point of view, I mean, if I would have told you 2 weeks ago that the Thunder would have split the 2 games with Orlando, and after that night, they would be at 21 wins and Orlando and Detroit both be at 20 wins, and the Thunder would be within 1 to 1.5 games of second place in the West as far as reverse standings, or not second place in the West, second place in the league in reverse standings, I think we all would have accepted that and taken it. So
totally. The issues are not with, I know there was a lot of pressure to lose this game, but the issues, these games should have been lost earlier in the season, not now. Like, I don't think now is the time for that.
Yeah. I think as some of the games earlier in the season that they won, that people were like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, man, that's fleeting.
It's very fleeting. Yeah. Because now if you're in a position where you need to lose like all of your remaining games, that's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good.
Yeah. If they could lose all of them, I would love it if they could. Silva, let me ask you this. Does Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play another basketball game this season?
I think he plays like, let's see, how many games are left?
That's a good question.
Pulling it up right now. There are 1, 2, 3, about 9 games left. I think he might play in 2 or 3, but
it feels like their next game is against, I'm trying to get down here. Their next game is against the Nuggets Saturday night. That feels like it should be a loss. That Hawks game, the Hawks haven't been great. Hopefully that one's a loss. The Suns game should definitely be a loss. And then the Lakers and the Jazz and the Clippers, all 3 of those should be pretty easy losses.
Yeah.
So you're just looking at the 2 Blazers game and the Pistons game as your barometer.
Yes, you just don't play them in those. But like those other teams, even Atlanta, like they need to win all their games now to get in the play, to stay in the play-in. So I think you could play. It'd be safe to play him in a game like that, just so he's not totally out like Giddy.
Yeah, and hopefully all these teams have something to play for. Like hopefully the Lakers are playing for. I mean, the Lakers, their best case scenario is to end at 9. They're not getting up to 8 and catching the Clippers, but they're really close at sliding to 10 and losing home court advantage in that play-in game. So hopefully, like the Lakers have something to play for. Hopefully, the Clippers maybe have a little something to play for. I don't think they will in the last night of the season. Minnesota 6.5 games ahead of them. They're not close enough to catch Minnesota. They're too far ahead of the Lakers to fall. So I kind of worry about that last game of the season, just like last year. Man, if the Thunder get to like the second or the third best odds and it comes down to them losing that last game of the season to the Clippers and the Clippers rest everybody again.
Not again.
I will be irate.
Yeah.
Absolutely irate.
That would be very tragic. I think LeBron's in a go for that scoring title. So I think he's going to try his ass off in that Lakers game.
There you go. You want to go to Tankathon real quick
Let's
before
do
we
it.
get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Let's take a peek. If you're on the live stream, you can see we got Tankathon pulled up here. So the good news is I'm pretty sure the Thunder are at least safe from falling to fifth best lottery odds.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to win 4 more games this season while Indiana goes winless. Indiana did lose to Sacramento tonight, but Indiana has 25 wins. Sacramento has 26. The Thunder have 21. So I'm not worried about sliding back anymore. Now it's strictly about climbing upwards. Would you agree?
I would agree for sure. Yeah, I'm not worried about Indiana or Sacramento anymore.
Also, before we do this Tankathon sim, I bet we can pull up 538 NBA predictions. I've been looking at this a lot recently. When is the last time they updated this? They updated it about 10 minutes ago, it looks like. 10:51 p.m. Eastern time. That's 9:51 Central. So about 15 minutes ago, they updated. Let's look at the record projection. They have, oh my goodness. They have the Rockets ending the season at 22-60. They have
Really?
the Magic ending the season at 23-59. The Pistons at 23-59. The Thunder at 23-59. 3-way tie for second best odds.
Is that just coin flips at that
I
point?
believe that would be coin flips. Yes. I don't think head-to-head record or anything counts for lottery positioning. I think it's straight coin flips.
I think I would rather have that outcome than be locked in at fourth for sure. So
definitely. All right, so let's do a Tankathon sim, and then after we sim it, let's do a little quick mock draft down to the Thunder's pick to see who they get.
Great.
So the question is, are we just hitting sim once?
I think we should. I always do it 3 times. That's my ritual. I do it 3 times.
3 times. All right. Yep. So we'll hit sim 3 times. If you're on the live stream, you can watch us do this. If you're just listening in, we'll announce the results of all 3. But the third spin is the one that we're going to mock. All right, here we go. Spin number 1.
Drum roll.
Sees Oklahoma City jump to number 2.
Okay.
Sim number 2 sees the Thunder drop to 7.
All right.
That ain't good.
I need to forget that.
And sim number 3 puts Oklahoma City at 7.
Cow. Go ahead and do that again. I cannot go out on a 7.
7 is bad.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We'll do it again.
Got to go out on a make. There you go.
Lands on 2. The New Orleans Pelicans actually get number 1. Oh my gosh. In this situation, New Orleans got number 1 and 3.
Oh, wow.
That Lakers pick jumped for New Orleans. They got pick number 1 and pick number 3 with their own pick.
So this would entail the Lakers missing the playoffs entirely and then their pick going to number 1?
Yes.
That is chaos. Pure chaos.
Oh my God.
Which would be okay because
could you imagine the Pelicans adding Chet and Jaden Ivey?
Maybe then Zion would want to play for them.
That's insane. At number 2, it's pretty simple. It's Jabari Smith, right?
Yeah.
That's not really a fun mock. So let's sim again and see if we can get a more interesting one. Oh shit. That time I got number 1.
Yep. Got to even out those odds.
Silva, if you were in charge of the Thunder and you had picked number 1, who would you take?
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. I'm on the Chet train.
Yep.
Thunder got number 2 on that spin. Number 6. Let's do this one. Let's do where the Thunder get number 6. So we're going to go back and forth and we'll draft for these teams. In this mock or in this spin, the Houston Rockets get pick number 1. Silva, who are you going to take for Houston?
If I'm Houston, okay. So there's the devil on my shoulder that's wanting to say they're going to take Paolo, but they're definitely going to take Chet. I think.
Okay, I kind of Paolo feels like a Houston.
He feels
guy.
like a Houston.
It feels like Houston would do that. But okay, so you're taking Chet there.
Yes.
Okay. Portland got pick number 2. I think if this were the case, Portland is keeping their own pick. I know they want to trade for Jeremy Grant. I bet they could trade that number in this sim. The New Orleans Pelicans pick landed at number 9, which would belong to the Portland Trailblazers as part of the CJ McCollum trade. I bet they trade pick 9 for Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
But at pick 2, the Portland Trailblazers, this is a pretty easy Jabari Smith Jr. pick for me.
Yeah.
Add a big wing there. That's kind of what they've always needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could still trade number 9 for Jeremy Grant.
Totally.
So you get Jabari Smith Jr. and Jeremy Grant out to Portland. That's pretty fun.
That might be the only outcome where Dame stays.
Yeah. So you have pick number 3 with the Orlando Magic.
I am taking Paolo Banchero.
Okay. Interesting. Even though you already have a lot of forwards and guys like Franz is the young one. Franz Wagner
Yes.
and Jonathan Isaac, who we'll see if he plays basketball ever again. And some other wings like Truma Okiki. You're still going to take Paulo here?
I think I will. Yeah. I think if I'm a Magic front office member, I think I still like Jalen Suggs a lot. Don't necessarily love Cole Anthony, but I like the idea of Paolo scoring more in this case. And I don't know if Jonathan Isaac is coming back to play basketball ever.
All right. I have pick number 4. The San Antonio Spurs jumped to pick number 4. I'm going to do something a little different here, Silva.
Okay.
I'm going to go Shaden Sharp.
Wow. I like that.
I mean, I don't know how much Jaden Ivey makes sense down there.
Mm-hmm.
When you have DeJounte Murray, when you have Keldon Johnson, when you have all those different guys, I think Shaden maybe is the highest. He's definitely a mystery guy, but I could see San Antonio. I think Pop may be done this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Go with the youngest kid well, I don't think he's actually not the youngest guy in the draft, but go with one of the youngest guys in the draft. This pure mystery box that could kickstart the next era of San Antonio basketball after Greg Popovich leaves.
Yeah, makes total sense.
All right, you have pick 5, which is the Detroit Pistons.
Okay, I think I'm definitely wiping my hands clean of the Killian Hayes situation and drafting Jaden Ivey here.
Okay, I like that. Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham would be fun. You have a bigger jumbo guard in Cade who can kind of, maybe not the most athletic guy in the world, but can make every read. Is just a very, very, very solid basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like highlight factory Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, really nice contrast. That's
fun. All right, pick number 6 is the Oklahoma City Thunder. We can collaborate on pick number 6.
Yeah. So I don't know a ton of guys that are projected to go into this range outside of like your AJ Griffins, your Jalen Durans. Is there a guy outside of those two that you would consider for this pick?
I think a lot of people would say Keegan Murray. I am out on Keegan Murray. I don't want to draft a 22-year-old guy.
That's
I don't want to draft a guy who's slow-footed defensively.
Nope.
I think if the Thunder end with pick 6 in this situation, I think you see a lot of we probably won't see it, but I think behind the scenes there's going to be a lot of work for the Thunder to trade up. Like a lot of work for the Thunder to trade up. Like, could they trade 6 to Portland at 2 and also send Portland some stuff that will help them? Like, would 6 and Dort and pick 30 get you to number 2 or something like that? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's way more likely this season than it was last draft, because the guys at the top of last draft were like extraordinarily good.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about Johnny Davis. I'm not a huge Johnny Davis guy, but I haven't watched a lot of him.
Me either.
At this spot, the pick that makes the most sense to me is AJ Griffin.
Yeah.
I think he's the youngest kid in the draft. He is a knockdown 3-point shooter. I think partially he's been held back in his position and by some injuries at Duke. He's a high-level athlete. He, I think, understands the game really well. He's a pretty good passer. He's a really good defender. Dad has been a long-time NBA assistant coach. Actually, was an assistant coach here in Oklahoma City for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think AJ could come in and immediately fill a role as like a floor spacer. I think he would work really well next to Shea and Josh as far as just being like a catch-and-shoot 3-point guy. He can put the ball on the ground a little bit, get to the basket. I would go AJ Griffin at 6.
I totally agree. I envision him as like a modern Wes Matthews.
Yeah, I've made that comp too.
Yeah.
So interesting. I think I would be okay with that at 6, but I would expect, if that was the case on lottery night, that the Oklahoma City Thunder are aggressively trying to trade up.
Yeah, totally. And if they do stand pat at 6, I do start to have a lot of questions about the current roster and who might be exiting.
I think that's very fair.
Yep.
I need to look up how big AJ Griffin is, because for such a young guy, he is already like really well built.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. He is 6'6". I think he's got a 7-foot wingspan, and he's 222 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
So
he would slot
pretty,
right
he's
into
pretty,
the.
yeah, he's pretty thick.
Yeah.
And he is super young. He will turn 19 years old on August 25th. So
Wow, that's really
after
young.
the draft, after Summer League, he will turn 19.
Yeah. Is that about how old Poku was whenever he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure AJ is going to be the youngest guy in this draft. He's even younger than Shaden.
That's possible. Yeah, Shaden declaring or not declaring is going to be a big deal, I think.
Yeah, and I'm on a record. I think he's going to declare. I think it would be dumb not to.
Yeah, if you have a chance to go in the lottery, you don't sit out historically.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that can happen with him going back to college next year is he goes down in the draft.
I agree.
I don't think he's going to jump over guys like Scoot and Victor Wembanyama.
No. Who some footage was released today of Victor Wembanyama, and
Stupid,
I had
dude.
never seen him before.
Oh, dude, he
is an alien. He is
he's
insane.
He's 7'3".
Yeah, and
With
doing
guard skills.
everything. Yes.
Yeah, he's insane.
All right.
Anything else, Silva?
That's it. We're out of here. This is a real stinky game. I was hoping, since I always get to watch the bad games, that this would end up being another bad game and the Thunder would lose. But that did not happen. That's all right. We're heading out for the night. Thank you guys so much for listening or tuning in live. Before we go, remember to shed the bed, be sorry for Jabari, be grimy for Ivy. You got Jacob. You got one for Banchero?
I don't have one for Banchero. I'll try to think of one.
That's all right. Thanks again, guys. See you next time.